Hey guys, this is Will Roundtree, your FICO certified credit specialist, credit mastery instructor for the J. Morrison Academy, author of 2 books, Credit is King, as well as Full-Time CEO, The Shit They Don't Tell You. But more importantly, I want to take you on this journey about financial literacy, the importance of credit, how to understand credit, and how to get to that money. Welcome to the Wealth Files Podcast. Peace, family. Will Roundtree here with the Wealth Files Podcast. Man, y'all in for a treat today. But before we get into that, for those who may not know me, owner and founder of We Management Services, FICO certified credit instructor. Some people have pegged me as a motivational speaker. I don't know about that because I'm still working on that lane. But more importantly, I am an author of 2 books. The first one is Credit is King. If you have not done so, please make sure you go out and support myself. Support me, please. And then definitely support you, your family, pay it forward, because that book literally has changed not only my life, but the countless amount of people who said that it's helped change their lives. Because not only does it give you information to help better understand credit, it's going to teach you about the myths, going to talk about identity theft, how to deal with collection agents. Look, I used to work for a collection agency company, and I know the dirty tactics that they told us to use to try to collect the money. Did y'all know that most collection agents have fake names? My fake name was Mike Quick. It sounded cool because I was a big DJ Quick fan. But, but definitely make sure you go out and pick up the book, Credit is King. And then also my latest book, Full-Time CEO, The Shit They Don't Tell You, where I'm going to be talking about all the unglamorized stuff about business, everything that you need to know to become successful, not even just financially, but even mentally. See, a lot of people miss that part. When you're trying to get to a certain level in life, it's a certain level of mental success that you need to sustain, because in order to become successful financially, you have to have the mental in place anyway. So you can go and pick up that book. And then if you have not done so, please make sure you go to my YouTube, like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff at Mr. Will Roundtree. And but today it's not about me. It's about my guests. So this brother who we're bringing on today, a good friend of mine. This was probably one of the first 5 individuals I met when I moved to Las Vegas in 2005. We had a mutual friend who actually introduced us. And I probably want to say we probably got almost cooler than our mutual friend did. I mean, we definitely became a brother of mine. He's seen me literally from every facet of my journey on this walk. We even did multiple partnerships together. This brother has just a wide range of knowledge in a lot of different areas, from technology to music to marketing and promotions to, I was like, Los, is there anything you cannot do? It's like, he just know how to do so many different things. He's a wealth of knowledge. Definitely someone, if you are in the entertainment industry and you come to Las Vegas, you got to lock arms with this brother. And so, I'm not going to steal too much of his thunder, but I'm going to let him share his story. He's even worked with one of the greatest musical groups in the R&B industry. Not just on some, he lived with them. And so I'm going to let him tell his story. So without further ado, I want to bring on my brother, Carlos Pittman. What's going on with you, man?
What's going on, Key and Will? Man, appreciate the introduction, man. It's very humbling to be here and be on the show, man. So thank you for having me. Just to see your success, man, and where you've come from and your growth, man. It's amazing.
Oh no, I appreciate you.
This is a beautiful platform that you created for not only for entrepreneurs, but for people out there, for the viewers, to be able to get to that level one day.
Definitely.
And we all need more of this. I watched the interview you did with my brother the other night on his YouTube channel, Cool Car.
Absolutely.
And you shared a lot in there, man, about your journey and how you got to where you are today. And it's great to have these platforms for all of us. So,
no, absolutely, man. We appreciate you coming in, and but more importantly, just you've been definitely someone who's probably helped me indirectly, and you didn't even know, just from your level of support. Right. I always tell people that sometimes half the battle of going through I always say your entrepreneurial journey is just finding someone that believes in your vision.
Right.
Whether, you succeed or not, sometimes just knowing somebody, I believe in that.
Right.
It makes a big difference. And that's one of the things that I've always tried to do to pay forward. And that's really how the podcast started.
Right.
It's just me wanting to pay it forward to other aspiring entrepreneurs, no matter what level of success you're on.
Right.
Because, I want to be in a position to where we both look back and be like, man, you remember that was your first interview?
Right.
And now you on the Today Show on NBC or whatever the networks are. But no, so we definitely appreciate you coming out. So tell the people, who you are, what you do, and all that good stuff, man.
Yeah, absolutely. So my name is Carlos Pittman. I moved out to Vegas when I was 7 years old. My mother moved me and my sister out here. She was, 20 years old, single mom, moved to Vegas. We had some, family out here. And she just wanted to get away from, where we were in Mississippi. I'm from Mississippi. And
what part of Mississippi?
Macomb, Mississippi. I'm about an hour from Jackson, about 2 hours from New Orleans.
Okay.
So, that's where my family is. That's where my home is.
I grew up, I lived in Kosciuszko for 3 years.
Okay.
Mississippi is different.
Look, Mississippi is different, man.
Different.
Yes.
I seen a cloak when I was in high school out here. So, and this was in 97 when I graduated. My prom was segregated.
Wow.
In 1997.
Wow, that's crazy, man.
Yeah.
It's just crazy, to be in the times that we are right now, and you go from here, back to somewhere like Mississippi, and you still see stuff like that.
Definitely.
But we got to break that mold, and 100%. I think it starts with platforms like this, and start with what you're doing, man, with the corner classes and going out into the communities in these different cities and these impoverished cities. And communities, and really, giving back and letting the people know, like, there's something different out there,
correct,
other than what your surroundings are. And so I think with my mother, she's always been, this ambitious person, to strong woman that wanted to do her own. And so it led us to Las Vegas. And I'm very grateful and thankful for that because the conditions that, we lived in Mississippi, and I still have fun childhood memories, me and my sister, of just, things that you don't want to even, tell your kids about and want them to go through. So it was definitely a change when we got here. But then when we got here, we still went through that, through that process. But I just say, through that journey, it led me to, went to high school here. And
what was that like?
Man, high school here was it was cool, man.
Being in Vegas in high school.
High school in Vegas is cool, man. With Scott, too. He's behind the camera right now. You can't see him, but we were just talking a little bit ago about different friends, man, that we came up with, and to kind of see their success right now. You had King Devin in here the other day, man, and that I saw, and that brother's doing great things for the community.
Which is our mutual friend.
Right, through our mutual friend. Yeah, we went to high school together. And we just have so many, mutual friends and people that we went to high school with that, is doing good things too. And that's what it should be about. But, back in high school, it was fun times. You didn't have all the social media, and you could actually, get out and go do things with your friends and stuff like that without being locked and attached to a phone.
Like, if you want to talk to a girl, you have to actually talk to her.
Right, exactly.
Like, hey, look, I like you.
Look, there's no DMs and all that stuff sliding in anybody's DMs.
If you like me, check box. Like, you actually have to do that in school.
So, that was cool, man. We had some, cool experiences, but, there was a world outside of the script. Most people be like, well, wow, I didn't know it was stuff outside. You live on the script.
That's what people used to say when I moved out here. They're like, where do you live? A casino? Like, no, it's houses.
Right. There's communities out here. There's things to do out here, So, but yeah, man, it was fun times, and I have some great memories from high school. My sister, she's a year older than me, so she was in high school with me and stuff. So that was fun, man. And just to have those the memories and really hold that to today, and have and share those with people and friends that I see that come across when they come to my venue and stuff like that. So it was fun times back then.
Definitely. So you said something interesting. And I hear this a lot with entrepreneurs is the the conditions you grew up in, so the adversities.
Right.
Do you feel that those type of adversities, when you grow up with those, is what motivates you and say, you know what, I never want to live like that again, or I don't want my children growing up in that environment? Because I know that's what it did for me, and I would assume that's probably the mental image that's been stained into your subconscious. Like, I'm gonna work my ass off, so I don't got to do this no more.
Right, and it definitely, man. I think about my past and my childhood, and it has led me to where I am today.
Correct.
Because I use that as motivation and fuel to do better.
Definitely.
And I always wanted to be successful and get out of those conditions and not have my children go through those conditions. I'm a father, I'm a husband. I got 3 kids, 2 daughters and a son. And my son's in high school. He's playing ball, and so I want to give them the opportunity to never ever go through things like that, where they didn't have to experience struggle and adversity in that way. I mean, you're always going to have some type of form of adversity in life, but to never go through that, and so that drove me to kind of push myself as a kid and even till today, to not be complacent and be content with just settling on one thing.
Definitely.
With where I'm at right now, I'm a director of event operations for Park Theater, a Park and Gym, and it's not too many of us in that executive space,
especially on a strip.
Right.
Like, for anybody who doesn't know much about Vegas, the executive positions in any Fortune 500 companies, probably top 100 companies in as far as their net worth, there's not a lot of black people. They're either in housekeeping, they may be dealers, they work the valet, but they're definitely not executives.
Right.
So what has that been like for you, knowing that, it's not a lot of us in those positions, but you have the power to bring in people that otherwise may not be able to get certain jobs because it's not anybody that looks like us in those hiring positions.
Right.
How has that been, just especially knowing where you come from?
Well, I'm touch on this. You said something that was key with, being in certain positions. And when my mother moved us here, she took a position as in housekeeping at the Flamingo.
Right.
And she was at the Flamingo for over 20 years.
Wow.
And she didn't have a college education. She didn't finish high school.
Right.
But what she did was she worked her way up into a supervisor in a management position before she passed. I think, once you have the opportunity, and this is for Black and brown that, can get into those positions, you have to be professional. You have to do certain things. You have to work harder. You have to push yourself at another level to stay in those positions, because there's a lot of people on the inside that don't want to see you make it.
100%.
They want to see you fail. But that's in everything that we do. Not everybody want to see you make it. But, when you're in a corporate space like that and you have the opportunity to get in those roles and those positions, you have to work yourself extra harder. And I'll always, learn from other leaders within corporations and see how things are done. Being in those executive meetings and actually listening and kind of taking in, like, how do I need to position myself in this space, and what do I need to do to grow within this corporation? But I never used a title as anything that defined me.
Correct.
It was always something where I knew my worth and my work ethic, and I was going to give that no matter what, wherever corporation I went to.
Definitely.
But it also starts with personal growth. And you have to be willing, for us, we have to be willing to grow and to learn.
To mature mentally.
Right.
And that's
and it's a
really what changed my
mindset.
life.
You have to be willing to change in certain situations and not stay complacent and stay stuck in your old ways.
Right.
If you have, ways of doing things, or, you're not willing to accept and change. So for me, it was that. But it was a learning experience, throughout that time. I never saw myself as being in an executive position.
Right.
When I moved back here in 2004, because I was, upstate New York, that's where my wife is from. and we were upstate New York. And at that time we moved back to Vegas, where she never lived in Vegas. It was her first time being out here. My son was 6 months, and I had a job waiting for me at Planet Hollywood, which was Aladdin at the time. And I went and worked in the box office selling tickets. I was a contract worker. I didn't even have. I got a 1099.
Right.
I wasn't even an official employee.
Wow.
And then a position came available for a supervisor, and my peers that I work with at the counter, they were like, "You should apply for this. You'll be great." I just had a personality and was able to talk to people, and they were like, "You should apply for it," and I did. And I ended up getting the position, but there was a lot of challenges along the way.
Definitely.
Because I didn't know how to be a supervisor. I didn't know how to be in management and be on that side. So I had to learn certain things. There was a lot of times where I had to Google stuff and teach myself things, about being in that space. And I never had someone really kind of sit down with me and groom me on how to be this in that space. And it just took over time, learning, and then having good, mentors. One gentleman that, was a director of entertainment during that time, he always just something about him that he saw in me.
Correct.
And he wanted to promote me to a new position that never exists, and he created that for me. But I was thrown to the wolves, and I had to learn how to, do that position on my own. And I embraced it, and I said, this is going to be a challenge, but I'm gonna take this position and I'm gonna make it my own, and I did that.
Correct.
And that gentleman still, he to this day he works for our company now, and he when I got to my position where I'm at, I went back and thanked him. I'm like, man, thank you for taking the time to even sit down with me and have those conversations, because it was vital in my, growth of where I'm at today. So
yeah, and he saw something in you that you probably didn't see in yourself, or you maybe not have believed in.
Right.
And you said something that really stuck out, is that, and I think this is one of the qualities of why you've been successful on your entrepreneurial journey, is that the epitome of an entrepreneur is to be able to undertake challenges. Right. And you were like, you know what? I didn't even know how to be a supervisor. It was things that I would just go and look up.
Right.
And I talk to so many people where it's like they have one stumbling block and they're like, oh, I need help. Like, no, like go try to figure it out, because that's how you grow.
Right.
It's just like becoming a man. You can't ask someone, hey, Carlos, how do you be a man?
Right.
You got to go out there.
Right. You got to go do it. You got to go through it yourself. Right.
And so life is the same way. Business is the same way. And so speaking about upstate New York, so you go out there. I know that was a culture shock for you.
Right.
Being from Mississippi to Vegas, then you going out there where it's cold, it's snowing. See, I'm from the snow, and I know how, like, I wasn't a huge fan of it.
Right. So I'm gonna say you used to that.
That's something you don't get used to.
Right.
Like
cold, snow, none of that stuff. Right.
When it's -10 outside, no. At least I couldn't get used to it. I'm pretty sure somebody has. But I know, you went to school out there the whole night, and then you kind of found your way into the music industry.
Right.
Talk to me about that. Like, how did you get into that area of your career?
Absolutely. So when I finished high school, I went right to UNLV. Went to UNLV for 2 years, and that my freshman year, that's where I met Eric Hawkins, which is Cool Card. And it was something about him, man, like we just clicked. And we had a great friendship. He ended up leaving and moving to New York City, our sophomore year. So we always kept in touch, and the reason he left was because he was on his journey to pursue music. Hip hop artist at the time. And so we connected that way through music, but just everything else in life in general. And so he went out there. He was out there for that year. We communicated. He told me how things were. And then, mind you, we didn't have any family in New York. He just said, listen, 18 years old,
thug it out.
Right. I'm going to New York. This is my dream. I'm gonna get a record deal. And I'm gonna go, rap for rap for anybody I see on the corner, on the streets, whatever. Right. So he went out there and he interned for Bad Boy, with Diddy and stuff. So, man, he was just, call me every day and like, man, I rap for such and such, or I did this. I'm linked up with this person. I'm in the studio working with such and such. And so, man, I'm like, you know what? I got to get out there.
Right.
Because I'm like, I didn't, I wanted to go away to college. But UNLV was fine for me. I had majored in electrical engineering, and man, was that tough. So I was like, man, I want to go out to New York. I want to, do something different.
Right.
And so that summer when Eric came back, we said, hey man, let's do it. I had planned to go to that same, college and school out there that he went to. And then so, I said, you know what, this summer I'm gonna basically save up all my money and, have enough. I'm gonna do everything I need to do to transfer and go out there and go to school. So I did that, man. I worked at the MGM at the theme park.
Wow.
For that whole summer. I did not cash not one of my paychecks.
Oh, wow.
I took all the paychecks. That takes some
discipline.
Right. I took, and I was 18 at that time.
Right. Oh, that really takes discipline.
But I was living at home.
Right.
And, but I always had the mindset, man, because, and I tell my kids now, like, man, you got to have that mindset. You living at home, parent. Like, I made sure I took care of my mom with, she paid for my phone bill and stuff like that. But I had a place to live and sleep. So she granted me the opportunity to do that. So I saved up, all my paychecks that summer, like 3 months worth, had them in the top of my drawer, man. I went to the bank, cashed them all.
Right.
She didn't believe me that I was transferring. I said, Mom, listen, I'm moving out to New York. Right. She was like, yeah, okay. She didn't even believe me. But I said, I applied for the school and everything, got it accepted, I even got my own, financial aid and all that stuff. I didn't ask my parents for anything like that. So ended up going to New York that summer. And man, was it eye-opening.
New York is a different place.
Man, this is New York City.
Right.
Manhattan.
Yeah, it's different.
Right.
Yeah.
And so it was very eye-opening, man. Culture shock, like you said.
The energy.
Yeah. But it was something about that city, man. I'm just like, the energy out here, I loved it. And so, we were dabbling and doing a lot of different things out there. We worked with a guy that, got us in modeling. And then he introduced us to the producer that produced Imagine. So I don't know if anyone, that was back in the day. Imagine was a boy band, R&B boy band, and they had this song with Keith Murray.
Okay.
Shorty, you keep playing with my mind. So, so we connected with those guys.
I probably didn't own a radio back
right
during my struggle times.
But man, so yeah, you can go look it up on YouTube right now. Imagine featuring Keith Murray. And so we connected with those guys. And man, it just became like, every day we were down at the studio. It was like a block from the Madison Square Garden. And so we went down there, man, and we connected with those guys. They welcomed us in, and that's kind of how it got going. Okay. We had a home, so to speak, with some guys that were in the studio, and they ended up introducing us to a producer, a really good friend of mine to this day, Lionel Bousset, and he was how we connected and met Devontae. And
you just can't say Devontae.
Right. Well,
people need to know who the Devontae you're talking about.
Devontae from Jodeci, from the legendary hit group Jodeci. So yeah, so he was the one that connected us with Devontae, and which led us to LA, and we ended up moving out there. But that's kind of fast forwarding, a couple years. So we were out in New York. I'm 19 years old, out in New York City, no family. Me and my brother, and I call him my brother because I've known him for well over 25 years.
Right.
And so it was just us two out there, man, and we went through a struggle. Being 19, being out there, going to college. I had at one point, when I moved out there, we didn't even have a dorm. We get to the school and they said, "I'm sorry, something went wrong with your paperwork, and you don't have a dorm." I didn't know where I was going to live. That whole summer, we basically lived in one of his friends' condo college friend's dorm room downtown, the school he used to go to.
Wow.
And she basically snuck us in every day. We had bags of clothes, man. Right. I got stories for days, man. So we were, we were in this point like, man, what are we going to do? We went and saw the dean of the school, Hunter College, the school we went to. And she's like, you guys look like two young, fine young men. We'll work it out. So she was able to get us a dorm room, man. So we dormed together. Cool. And man, it was a great experience. We started, we auditioned for MTV, Say What Karaoke. We got on that. We did MTV Global Groove with Dave Holmes. We were on that for like, I think 13, 14 episodes.
Oh, wow.
Now, mind you, these are professional dancers that's on this show. And the show was based on location in different cities and countries where they would just have you dancing and stuff. And there's a DJ playing. So we were like on the rooftop of MTV or we
You danced too?
I did, but I wasn't no dancer at that time, man.
I gotta see that video.
I wasn't a dancer. So we just went in there, man, and auditioned, and we just danced like we were in a nightclub.
Right.
And they were like, man, the producers were blown away, so they put us on the show. And from that, we were able to meet people.
That's cool.
We were able to meet different people, and we started doing a lot more things. I, did music videos. I did a Ja Rule video, Angie Martinez. People don't know I did Nelly video, EI. That was his second single that he came out with.
Right.
And people thought that video was shot back in his hometown. It was in Jersey.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was in Jersey, man. So we were doing that. And like Benny Boom at that time, man, he was an intern. We were on the ride on the bus with him to Jersey from New York. And now he's out there doing films and stuff, man.
Everything.
So that's how far we go back, from the entertainment side. But we were able to connect with some brothers, man, that, had love for us, that we still talk to this day, man. That like we're
relationships.
Right, it's relationships.
It's huge.
Right.
I tell people that like just your talent and this, that, and the third to get you in the door, but relationships can get you to that next level in business.
Right.
Because there are a lot of times the relationships can help you connect the dots.
Right.
To get into doors that sometimes we just won't be able to get into because of whether it's right or wrong nepotism.
Right.
It'll be easier for me to say, you know what, Carlos, let me introduce you to so-and-so versus you trying to go meet them yourself.
Right.
And so no, those relationships are huge.
Yeah, very, very key, man. Very key. And, we were just talking about that earlier from, where I was at Planet Hollywood and Aladdin. It's always been relationships, no matter what, to where I'm at right now.
Definitely.
I'm my good friend to this day, which we're working on some stuff with the Buzzing Box for out of LA. We just talked yesterday, and I met him at Planet Hollywood. He was the security manager for Wanda Sykes. And we connected, man, and we built a great friendship. You actually met him, Kevin McDaniel. So great friend of mine, man, and that was through relationship. But we built this synergy and was able to connect, man, and still work together to this day.
Definitely. So speaking of the Buzzing Box, I remember when you, like a couple things that, you and I actually had talked about as far as just our love for just music and, and the entertainment industry and all of that, And so let the people know, what is the Buzzing Box and what's the vision for that and how that, comes to fruition.
So the Buzzing Box, I came up with that name back in 2008. And the name came, actually, I wanted to do a entertainment magazine, a music entertainment magazine. And the concept was based off the Rolling Stone. So I'm like, the Rolling Stone, man, that's a huge name out there. But I wanted something that the name to be, weird, different. And people were like, what is that? So that's where the name came from. But it evolved over the years to where it is right now, and it became a music entertainment blog, a platform that I wanted to create for music artists, for up-and-coming artists, emerging artists that's out there. But we also share, music and video content and performances of artists that are on. But I wanted to be a vessel for artists that, are trying to promote their music and really put them in that space where otherwise they didn't have that platform available to them. Now there's some platforms that, artists, can promote their music. But the vision behind it right now is to really take it next level for emerging artists and give them their own space. And it was kind of like back in the day when we had MySpace.
Right.
But this will be a kind of a one-stop shop to, tie everything together where you have the opportunity of really promoting your music outside of, going to streaming platforms, Apple Music, Spotify, and Tidal. That's where your music is hub, where you want to, make some money, obviously. But now with the social media age, with Instagram and Twitter and Facebook, people don't really have their own hub of where, music is every single day, where, they have this platform where they can send people and say, listen, go check out my music here. We do weekly features on there, and I've got up a few now of, emerging artists. I want to share, the backstory behind them, the bio to what new releases they have, videos, or where people can go buy their album or stream their album, because that's where, everything is done now. He's like not really selling physical copies of albums anymore. So how can we connect that in this one hub for people to see all of your stuff? They can go to your streaming platforms. That helps with your streaming sales. So Kevin and I, we're working on some bigger, I can't speak about them right now because they're still in the works, but it's really going to take it next level into another venture that I have that is, in my eyes, $1 billion venture.
Correct.
That has really, it's an untapped market. But I can't speak on it right now, but it'll all come full circle with the site and everything we're doing. So that's kind of the vision for it, to really kind of plateau emerging artists, up-and-coming artists, because now it's becoming more of an independent space. Right. You don't see a lot of artists, signing record deals.
But that's the new wave of the industry now. Right. It's the ownership that I try to talk to people about. Like, I'm working with an artist who we're helping get some capital. Mm-hmm. He has a couple deals on the table right now, but we were talking and he was like, but if I take the deal, I'm a slave to that. I'm a slave to that label. Right. But if I can finance my own tours, finance my own recording, finance all of that, now my leverage is higher. Right. So now I go to the table and I negotiate, this is what I want. Right. Versus the label saying this is what you're worth. Right. And so, no, I think that's dope that you are providing that platform to help people get their ownership back. Because a lot of times they just feel they need the deal. Right. And I personally think you don't need the deal. Absolutely.
With technology, man, with the social media age right now, you can push your own music. Look at Chance the Rapper, for example. He was pushing his CD and offering it for free. But look what it's done for him.
Absolutely.
He's independent. He owned his own publishing, where he don't have to report to someone. And that's where very key right now. We talk about publishing. Now these artists that signed these deals way back in the day, they're trying to get their publishing back. But they wasn't smart enough back then. They didn't have the right people in their corner to, really mentor them and say, hey, this is a bad deal. Don't sign this deal and give away your publishing, because that's very key for artists to own their masters, get their publishing. So we want to build this platform to, promote. And these are entrepreneurs. You think about it.
100%.
Independent artists, you're an entrepreneur. So how do you build your brand? How do you have a platform that's going to really promote you and have a place where there's a lot of traffic coming through that's going to, see what you're doing and see your brand and see your, see what you have, because it's all about a brand. You're Definitely. A brand, artist is a brand. Everything we do is branding, right? So that's kind of where the vision is. Been very fortunate to cover a music festival out here. Life is Beautiful, and there's a local artist that we covered out here. I haven't really seen a lot from him. I know he's a high school basketball coach now for Liberty, but Marion Wright. We covered him out there, man, and he's there's a lot of dope artists in the city.
Definitely.
And just in general in other cities as well that, they're trying to get these record deals. They're trying to push their stuff independently, just don't know how to go about it.
Right. And I think it's just providing a platform, such as what you're doing. So you got the Buzzing Box. You have your hand in a lot of stuff in music. You're an executive over at Park MGM. Man, what are you not doing, man?
Man, I just have ideas, man. I consider myself in the beginning stages of being a serial entrepreneur.
Definitely.
And I say beginning stages because, I still have that full-time salary job that I'm working. And, it comes with a lot of sacrifice, a lot of time. But when you have the passion and drive to be successful and own your own stuff, then the time doesn't matter. I heard a quote from Kobe Bryant, rest in peace, him and his daughter. But he said, if you have to sacrifice something for something that you want, your dream, then why are you even doing it? It shouldn't even be a sacrifice.
Right.
If you think about it, you should have the passion every single day, no matter what it takes, to put in work for it, to do it, right? And so when I designed the Buzzing Box site, I had to revamp that site. It took me a solid month, man, to really redesign it. But I was getting off work, coming home, it's like 12 in the morning. I'm up to 3 in the morning, or I'll spend a whole day. And it didn't even cross my mind that I was working on, designing this site. And I'm like, wow, I didn't even eat.
Because you were passionate about it. It didn't matter.
Right. It didn't even matter, man. And I was like, I'm going to get it done. I didn't want to put too much pressure on myself, so it wasn't a time limit, but I want to make sure it was right. So every single day, I was putting in some time on it. Even when I recently took a course on the Harvard Business School online, and I knew it was going to be, some dedication and sacrifice that I had to take to, with my family and with work. But it was something that I wanted for myself, because I wanted to kind of understand the essentials and concepts and that from that space, and I did that, and it felt good for me. It was a win for me that I was able to complete that and add something to my personal growth and to my repertoire.
Congrats on that too.
Thank you, man. Appreciate that.
Absolutely, man. So like, as we mentioned, you got a lot going on. Father, with your kids look just like you, Lois.
They always say, man, that's your twins.
If you tried to deny them, they would be like, you know what, you're going to jail.
Yeah, my wife told me that all the time. She's like, ain't no denying these kids. You cannot
deny your kids, man. You got your kids, father, husband, you got the businesses, executive, and then you say, you know what, I want to add another business to my portfolio. Yep. So you got the Capes Bobcat. Tell us what's the inspiration behind that? What is that business about? Right. I was definitely a supporter of the brand. So, tell the people what's that business about.
Definitely. And thank you, man, for the support.
Absolutely.
We have to support one another, man, and what we're doing and everything we're doing. But Capes Bobcat, that's it's a play on my name, which is Carlos Anthony Pittman. So I had that idea about 2 years ago to do a hat line. And so I just didn't know how I, wanted to do it. I just had sat on the idea for a while. And then it just, one day just hit me last year, about a year ago. It'd actually be a year on the 18th that I launched the hat brand. And so the brand is it's a luxury, I call it a luxury hat brand, but I wanted to first get the brand name out there for people and then kind of now venture into doing some different type of hats. But the overall vision for Capes Bobcat is kind of similar to, and I think I shared this with you, similar to if you're looking at like Nike and Adidas and these sports brands, they're doing endorsement deals with athletes and things of that sort. Why can't we have that for like a hat line where we can customize and do something like type of deal and structure that with celebrities, entertainment figures, whether they be, influencers or whoever, and they have their own line through Capes Bobcat. But, there's some bigger things with it. It's kind of right now, I won't say on the back burner, but, I'm when you say full-time CEO, the shit they don't talk about. I'm going through that,
Definitely.
But, you got to wear plenty of hats when you first start off and until you really build your team. And I kind of learned that through Harvard Business School through the POCD framework. But you got to have a solid team. You can't. No one can get through any business and what they're doing
just
without
being a one-man operation.
Right.
Absolutely,
Right.
It's almost impossible. And one of the things I've always admired about you, Carlos, is that you always were forward thinking, and it reminds me of one of the ventures you were working on. You actually thought of a concept of comparable or similar to Tidal before Tidal became Tidal.
Mm.
And I remember you were talking about, because you work in the entertainment side at the casinos and being an executive, booking acts such as, Lady Gaga and Bruno Mars and all of this. And you were like, you know what? I want to think of something to where we can have a online platform to where no matter where you are in the world, you could see these performers perform.
Right.
And you thought about this before any of these streaming sites were even around.
Right.
I mean, thinking about the endorsement deal with the Capes Bobcat, I mean, it's just like you were always forward thinking. Like, what do you think, just having that type of vision, because I mean, it puts you in the likes of like a Henry Ford, thinking of the automobile. But just even to have the vision, because a lot of people, we don't think past tomorrow.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, YOLO, whatever that concept means.
Right.
But you're thinking of like, okay, how can I position this today that's going to, be forward thinking in the next 10 to 5 years? Like, where does a lot of that come from? Do you, obviously you have to be a big thinker.
Right.
And I tell people, if you're going to think big.
Right.
So that mindset you've mentioned several times, where did that come from?
Man, it's just, my grandfather's an entrepreneur. He has several businesses down in the South, in Mississippi. And, like my mother was a visionary and big thinker, even though she didn't have the schooling and resources.
But she started it for you.
Right.
Absolutely.
I think they fueled that for me. And actually, how I got accepted into the Harvard Online Business School is I had to write an essay. And I talked about that. I just used that, I'm like, when they said, well, define what entrepreneurship means to you and why are you taking this course? And I'm like, man, it's easy, but I think I got that from my mother and my grandfather. But it was always just, I wanted to think outside the box.
Definitely.
I've always challenged myself to think outside the box, but it's finding what is that void that's missing out there, which is the opportunity that they talk about in this course. What's that opportunity that is missing, that's every day around us, that could fill this void?
Mm-hmm.
So if you look at, for example, Uber, they've said, okay, they've figured out what a void that was missing out there. It was hard in New York City to catch, taxi cabs. Especially for minorities.
Especially if you were going to a part of Brooklyn.
Right.
I remember those.
So what they did was they took something and said, hey, this is an opportunity to really enhance and make something better in people's lives. So if we look at entrepreneurship, what is a void that's missing? But I've always been passionate about music and entertainment. And so these ideas that I have about music and entertainment have came from, okay, how can we fill a void in people's lives that, that is lacking? And that's where it's been forward thinking and, kind of think outside the box, have a strategic vision to really enhance and just think about that next, $1 billion idea.
Definitely.
I think that's where you start. Like, you can't think small.
At all, man.
At all. You have to think big. And people may laugh at you and knock you and be like, man, you can't do that.
I was just about to say that. Like, you said billion a couple times in this interview, and some people may be like, $1 billion? I'm like, why not? Right. And so I can remember having discussions with people and I said, what's your financial goals? And they're like, oh, I want to make 6 figures. I'm like, a month? No, just a year. I'm like, why not think that a month?
Right.
And so I'm like, we have to start
settling.
thinking on a larger scale, because if my goal is just to make 6 figures a year, not that it's anything wrong with wanting just that.
Right.
What if you come short of that? Now you're doing just 5, which most people do. But if I'm saying my goal is to do 6 figures a month, I'm still in the millions.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? If I fall short of that. So it's just the perspective of thinking, and I think we've been conditioned that you can only have this.
Yep.
Why not? And so it's really just all perspective,
right.
but that's a certain level of conditioning. It's like going to the gym.
Right.
In order to get in shape, you have to put in work. Well, some people may say, well, getting to 100,000 a month is a lot of work. Getting to 100,000 a year is a lot of work.
Right.
It takes the same amount of work.
Right.
And so just understanding that you just have to think big
right.
on everything you do. So, no, I mean, I love that you have that perspective and you're not scared to tell somebody, look, I got $1 billion
right.
idea.
And I'm not, man. I'll tell people all day. And they may look at me and say, okay, or they, like, all right, man, but hey, that's the mindset that I have to have. It's not your mindset. I'm not, I'm not the $1 million mindset. I'm beyond that.
100%.
So when I see like guys like Jay-Z, that's a self-made billionaire that come from the projects, that reminds me of me, man. I look at that and I'm like, that's me.
Right.
I can be that. And it should be that for people that want to inspire, that come from, poor neighborhoods, to one day like use that as motivation and inspiration for them to, help them in their life and whatever they want to do. And it don't necessarily have to be in business or entrepreneurship, but it could be, if you're trying to get to, being a star athlete, okay, well, you can be that athlete and then I'll take that and do other things.
Springboard that off to other things,
right.
Absolutely.
So that's kind of been my mindset, but I look at that and say, man, that's possible. That can happen. And
because
that relates
there's
to me.
Too many examples of us seeing people who have come from neighborhoods like ours that are becoming successful.
Right.
Because I tell people who may not necessarily, because a lot of people really are just starting to know who Jay-Z is.
Right.
Unless you were like a super hip hop fan.
Right.
He got turned down by every label.
Yep.
So can you imagine the adversity he went through?
Yep.
And then what he did? Him, Dame, self-funded their own career.
Right. Forward thinking,
and that's where it starts.
And and then so the mindset of these artists right now, like you don't have to, it may look good right now to say, oh man, this record deal with this person, I have to sign
I always say, if somebody giving you $1 million up front, can you imagine what they know they're going to make?
Exactly.
That's like, okay, so even like when it comes to a job, if somebody's going to pay you $100,000 a year, imagine if you started your own company doing that, the potential you could make.
Right.
Because if somebody's going to be willing to pay you $100,000, that means they're making probably $2-3 million
right.
to be able to pay you the $100,000. And so, yeah, we got to start thinking ownership, and that's something that I preach all the time.
Man. Ownership and it's generational wealth to pass down to our kids.
Definitely.
So that's my mindset right now. That's the space that I want to be in. I want to leave a legacy and something for my family that they can hand down to their kids. So, and then for us, it's time now. Like it's a shift that's happening, and I can see it with what you're doing, with what Scott is doing, what Devin and all these brothers and sisters are doing in their space, man, to be entrepreneurs. And like the guy you had in here earlier, that's forward thinking, man, and really trying to help someone take their business and venture to the next level. And and support. A lot of times people think that we need to support people monetarily. We don't have to. It's just it could be word of mouth.
Man,
it could be sharing their picture.
Absolutely.
Exactly, man. And we got to start doing that more to help people get into that ownership space. Because entrepreneurship is not just about owning a business. It's much more than that. It could be having an idea. It could be...
It's a lifestyle, really.
Right, it's a lifestyle, exactly. There's been successful people, billionaires that didn't even start their companies. That vision came from someone else. They just they're the CEO, full-time CEO of that corporation. They know how to run that corporation and take that business to the next level.
Definitely.
But it's also, it's many different things. There's many different layers to entrepreneurship, and anyone can get in that space. But you have to have that mindset. You have to have that passion, that drive to want to do it. Otherwise, it's going to be, you're going to have these same resolutions and dreams.
Right. Every
year.
And
not put any action to it. So it's about action. It's about, commitment to it. And my word this year is consistency, and it takes consistency, long term and realize that you may not see it right now in front of you, but if you keep chipping away, keep putting, the building blocks. And you're a prime example of that, just over the years knowing you and seeing your hustle, man, and being willing to put in that time and that work and staying consistent.
Right.
And it has led you to where you're at today, man. And that's beautiful to see because, not a lot of people willing to, put in that, that time.
Oh, you saw when the tax office failed.
Right.
I mean, the 3,000 square foot building, we put in the letterhead, and one day we come in and it's shut down.
Yep.
Like, that was devastating. I mean, I had to go back to work. I lost all my money, but you was always supportive. Again, like you say, it's not always monetary. Sometimes it's just support. Like, yo, bro, like, anything you need, let me know. I got you. So now I appreciate that.
Right. And it's just being transparent, man, with people. You don't see a lot of people that's transparent.
Right.
And willing, to help others. Everybody I don't say everybody, a lot of people have their own agendas, which, hey, that's fine. But it doesn't take a lot, man, to support someone.
Definitely.
To be transparent and honest with them about things you can and can't do. I think that's where it comes in and keeping relationships as well.
Definitely.
And being upfront with people. Because if you can do that, man, then, you could have lasting relationships with people, have longevity in that whatever you're doing. And that carries on to just life, business, whatever space you're in, is just be transparent and upfront.
Correct. So no, Carlos, man, we definitely appreciate you coming out. Before we let you, shout out how people can find you. You talking about all these billions? I just want to know one question. Am I in the will?
Look, man.
See, brothers always they get to start with. I'm just messing with you, man.
Listen, man, we've been on this journey, man. So hey, it's
so basically
let's get
saying no.
No, I ain't saying that. We're gonna have some synergy together and collaborate and work on some stuff and build those billions together.
Build it together. Nice way to clean that up, Los.
Look, I'm definitely gonna bring you in, brother, because you the guru, the expert, man, on a lot of things, and you're out here doing great things in the community in Vegas, man, and just putting it out here in this platform, man, for everyone to see, because this is how you get to that, if you have that mindset and you want it. So, man, I definitely appreciate you having me on the show. And we definitely going to, work together in some form of fashion on what I'm working on. So
absolutely. So how can people find you, man?
People can
social
find
media,
me on
all that good stuff.
Social media, I'm on Instagram. I'll spell it out, i.am.cap. So there's I am Cap. And then Buzzing Box is the Buzzing Box _official. THEBUZZIN _official. And then you got Capes by Cap. That's CAPSBYCAP. And that's where you can find me on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. I'm on there.
Okay. So, man, family, I appreciate you guys being on this journey with us. Like I say, good long-time friend. Not even a friend. This is my brother. We go all the way back, probably almost 15 years since I've been in Las Vegas. So, family, again, make sure you like, subscribe, share my YouTube at Mr. Will Roundtree. Also, make sure you go out and pick up both of my books. It'd be a great tax season gift. A lot of times during tax season, we like to buy nice things. Go out and buy yourself a book or buy a couple copies and just pay the information forward. Again, family, until then, I'll see y'all at the top. Peace. Thank you for tuning in to the Wealth Files podcast. My name is Will Roundtree. Yo, make sure that you subscribe to me on YouTube at Mr. Will Roundtree. And also, you can follow me on all the top podcast sites, Google, Anchor, Apple, as well as Spotify. And again, family, I appreciate you going on this journey with me, and I'll see you all at the top.